The so-called birther movement is planning for Barack Obama's birthday. I just got a note here from the desk of, actually I got a few days ago, from the desk of Gary G. Kreep, K-R-E-E-P. Gary is the executive director of the United States Justice Foundation. USJF.net is their website. Big picture of Michael Reagan, the chairman of their advisory board, on the front page. And he says Barack Hussein Obama's birthday, in quotes, is coming up in just 2 weeks on August 4th. So we have a special birthday surprise planned for him, and I would like you to take part. And then basically it goes through a whole bill of particulars, which we'll get to in a moment, and it wraps up, the evidence demands that Barack Obama answer why he has been hiding the truth from the American people about his eligibility to run for and serve as president. Now, in the midst of this, we have, a wide variety of perspectives on the presidency of President Obama, although I think the new chairperson of the Young Republicans, 38-year-old woman named Audra Shea, perhaps highlights it. He's a little odd, is the point. He's got a middle name of Hussein. His father was African. He's half African American. He is African American, arguably. His mother was white, and she posted a laudatory post on a co-signing a racist Facebook post that said Osama bin Laden is the new terrorist. Muslim is on their side. Need to take this country back from all these mad. The word they used was coons. It's offensive. I don't think it's something you can't say on the radio, but it's and illegals. And then she replied, the president, the new chairperson of the Young Republicans, you tell America, LOL. We've seen Barack the Magic Negro, emails depicting watermelons and whatnot. And so I wanted to get Gary Kreep on, the executive director and president, I guess, of the United States Justice Foundation, USJF.net, and just, get this straight up. Gary, welcome to the show.
Thank you, sir.
378 to nothing yesterday, the House of Representatives passed a resolution asserting, whereas the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, was born in Hawaii. Now, there's a number of folks who are, I guess, on your side on this issue who simply didn't vote. There's 435 members of Congress, and it was a vote of 378 to 0. Why didn't they vote no?
I have no idea. First, Thom, if I could, I'd like to say that I find those racist comments, no matter who they're posted by, whether they're posted by a Republican, a Democrat, AIP, whoever, I find those comments to be completely reprehensible. Racism has no part in this. It's un-American, it's un-Christian, and if that person that you quote, and whatever the person's name is, actually said those, and they're an official with the Republican Party, then that person should resign, because racism has no part in this.
So what is it then, Gary? I mean, you had George Romney. I grew up in Michigan. I remember when George Romney was going to run for president back in the 60s. And he was born in Mexico of American parents. Nobody raised a peep back then. He was a white guy.
Well, first of all, there was a peep raised about John McCain, who is a, quote, white guy, unquote.
And immediately that peep got hey, come on, he's an American citizen. His parents are American citizens. He was born in Panama.
But the Democrats held hearings on it to make a determination whether he was an American citizen, right?
Not to the best of my knowledge, no.
No, they did. You can look in the congressional record, sir. They did hold hearings on it, and they finally passed a resolution declaring he was an American citizen. Okay?
Okay. So Congress yesterday passed a resolution declaring that Barack Obama was born in Hawaii. Should I say that in both cases, case closed?
No, because number one, they're basing it on potentially false information. Number two, they didn't hold hearings. I mean, it's good for the goose is good for the gander. The Democrats went out of their way to hold hearings on John McCain. They never held hearings on Barack Obama. Is that racism? Well, maybe it is. Or maybe it's because the Democrats have control of Congress and, they don't need to worry about it. Okay, but the point is that the issue is not a racist issue. My client in the case is an African American. My client in the case is not a Republican. None of my clients in the case are Republicans.
This lawsuit that you're bringing to force President Obama to come into court and produce his birth certificate.
Yes.
But he's already produced his birth certificate.
No, he hasn't.
Yes, he has.
No, sir, he hasn't. If you look at the document that's been revealed, it is not a Hawaiian birth certificate. It is a certification of live birth. It is not a certified copy of his birth certificate.
There is also a copy, and you can, the White House put it online. It's a photograph. You can see the raised type of the seal. You can see, the whole thing is right there. It's an actual birth certificate. But let's assume for a moment, Gary Kreep, with the United States Justice Foundation, USJF.net. Let's assume that somewhere along the line, let's say when Barack Obama's mom was dying of cancer, for example. I mean, I've moved a bunch of times. He moved a bunch of times. There are documents of my life. I've been looking for the last 15 years for my pilot's license, for example. I've totally lost it. And I have not been able to figure out how to get to the FAA to get it reissued. Let's assume for the moment that he actually lost his birth certificate. So what?
So he could get a certified copy of it and present it.
But that's a certificate of live birth. That is the certified copy.
No, it's not, sir. Not the Hawaiian law. Okay, the certification of live birth is a document which, according to Hawaiian law itself, is not recognized as proof of birth in Hawaii.
So are you suggesting that his mother, when he was born, said, okay, let's engage in a conspiracy so that this guy, my half-African son, can someday become president of the United States and, take us over from within?
I never said that, sir. That's
I'm asking you.
You may have that theory. I don't have that theory. Of course, that would mean you're a conspiracy theorist. But anyway,
well, let's assume for a moment that he's actually, in this case. I mean, what is the harm of having this man who certainly, other than the couple of years that he lived in Indonesia when he was 6 years old, has grown up in America, considers himself an American, has, I think most people would agree, American values, or maybe you disagree on that. What is the harm of his being president?
If he was born in Kenya, which is in what is now Kenya, which is what we believe, then, as a matter of constitutional law, he cannot be president of the United States.
And what is the harm?
It's not a matter of the harm, sir. A lot of people back in the 1800s said there's no harm in having slaves. There's no harm in a variety of things. But was still unconstitutional. It was still morally wrong. And if it's unconstitutional, then it should not be allowed to stand. Unless we're going to decide, well, we're just going to obey the Constitution whenever we want to, only if we agree with it. What's to go next? Freedom of speech, the right to keep and bear arms, freedom against self-incrimination. If you decide...
Well, I would suggest to you that a lot of those are already gone, Gary, and probably you and I actually agree on those things, that the Bush administration and to some extent the Clinton administration and others before them have eviscerated many of our rights under the Constitution.
I agree with you,
that the Fourth Amendment's gone down the toilet, that the First Amendment's in big danger, that
I agree.
Second Amendment, the Fifth, Sixth, and Seventh Amendments, Sixth, Seventh, and Eighth Amendments, excuse me. With the whole Guantanamo thing, there, you had Dick Cheney. He wanted to send troops into New York State. I mean, this is to arrest American citizens in clear violation both of the Fourth Amendment and the Posse Comitatus Act. We've got some real problems here. Isn't it?
If you had done any research on me, you would have found out that I have spoken out on those issues during the Bush administration. I and Bob Barr were two of the only so-called conservatives that opposed the extensions of the Patriot Act into warrantless searches.
The head of the Public Health Department in the state of Hawaii, Dr. Chiyomi Fukino, says, quote, I, Dr. Chiyomi Fukino, director of the Hawaii State Health Department, have seen the original vital records maintained on file by the Hawaii State Department of Health verifying Barack Hussein Obama was born in Hawaii and is a natural-born American citizen. I have nothing further to add to this statement that I made back in October of 2008. We have a half a minute left, by the way. Why not just stop at that point?
Well, first of all, I think that's a slight misquote, because she said that the original quote, she said that she'd seen the vital records.
He issued this yesterday.
I'm sorry. Well, I haven't seen that. That's a brand new quote because 2 days ago she issued a quote where she didn't say that. So unless she's changed her quote again from her quote last year, because she changed it from last year to this year, after the big furor came out about the records being destroyed, the CNN broke that Mr. Obama's birth certificate had been destroyed in 2001.
Right. Okay. So now the director is saying, "I've seen it. It's here. Are you willing to apologize?"
She has said that she's seen the birth certificate. She hasn't said where he was born.
Well, no,
Unless that's a brand new quote that came out that I haven't seen.
Okay. Gary Kreep, the website, United States Justice Foundation, usjf.net. Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, sir.